What's up, y'all? So now that I have a little break from work, I want to share with you guys another breakdown of Me, Myself, and Time, available now on Amazon. Okay? Now, I know that I said that every week I was getting into this whole podcast thing where every week I share a breakdown of each chapter of this book. But as I was recording the podcast, it was becoming a bit too scripted. The whole welcome to the SD podcast, the SD'Experience podcast. I am your host, Steven Stelisma. Like, share, subscribe. No. It just was throwing me off and I just couldn't really get into it. And I'm like, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel authentic. And I want you guys to feel the moment with me as I read the book with you and as I share some things that may seem unbelievable, some things you may not understand. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into some things. And I am about to take you back to Haiti, where it all started. Now, where so many people seems to have different version of me or different version of my story. This is the true one. No one can tell my story better than I can, because what I remember in Haiti, it's none of the things that these people quote unquote know about me, okay? Because my mother never introduced me to no family, not even her mother or her father. You know, I never knew nothing about family. My mother and I lived in poverty for a long time. We lived in a small town where it was a lot of evil. It was either you were praising God or worshiping the devil. Okay, there was a lot of voodoo where we lived. My mother wasn't always Christian. She found God after the events that happened, which I'm about to read to you today. When my mother was in poverty, when we were hungry, when we didn't have a place to stay, I don't remember no family that knows so much about me or how cruel of a child that I was. Apparently, that's what they have to say about me. You know, you have to be an ugly soul to say some of the things that you said to me as a child, or to believe, it's just whatever. That's beside the point. But let's get into some things. I'm taking you back to Haiti, chapter 1, A Boy is Born. Now, before I start reading this chapter, I have one question for you. Do you believe in spirits, ghosts, God, devil, heaven, and hell? That's the question. I do, because I've seen some of these things as a young boy. And some of these things, they were insane. And I know God got me out of Haiti. God got me out of that situation that I was in, because it was going to turn out worse for me. It's true that my mother could not take care of me. It's true that she was barely around, for many things. And it's amazing that I am able to have these conversations with her now. And she's amazed by some of the things that I remember. She's just like, Stephen, you remember that? I do. So everybody that quote unquote know this thing, they never did this or they didn't. I remember. And if you got a problem or if you have a concern, question, feel free to contact me. Let's do a podcast together. Well, not a podcast, just a little video. Let's answer some of the questions. Let's do a polygraph. Let's get into some things, okay? Since I'm quote unquote a liar. Let's go to Haiti. So chapter 1 reads, my mother introduced me to a woman named Catherine. She said Catherine was my auntie. I never knew what made her my auntie. I never asked. We went to live in her house, the one everybody knew for voodoo magic. That house brought the worst, a darkness I was never meant to see. Catherine was a voodoo queen, and she was real fond of me. She made sure I was good and protected by any means necessary. I didn't know much about voodoo rituals. I wasn't scared. I used to sneak around and watch her practice her spells. I never lacked anything when it came to her. Her love for me was unexplainable, like she saw something in me she wanted to explore or claim. I like Catherine. She was the only adult who never bullied me. She embraced me, but unlike my mother, I didn't embrace Catherine. I was curious about the things that she could do, but the devil never had a hold of me. One day I followed Catherine to the Voodoo temple. There I saw the devil as they chanted his presence and performed their rituals. As a kid, some may not believe your truth, but I know what I saw all those years ago. The things people call fictional stories are real in my country. I saw them in my own innocent eyes. Evil marched through the island of Haiti. Pure evil lived in the people there. See, in Haiti is a battle between heaven and hell. There are spirits that live and take human forms. Spirits my mother would soon come in contact with. It was a Halloween night and Catherine was feeling festive. Halloween in Haiti is like the day the gates of hell swing open. I remember she made a pot of soup, a pot of pumpkin soup. The soup wasn't just for us to eat, it was for her visitors. She placed a bowl of soup underneath her bed. A bright light appeared from under it. I opened the door slowly and peeked beneath the bed. That's when I saw the spirits flying around the bowl, eating the soup. I ran, but I wasn't scared. But I wasn't afraid. The things I saw would scare most children, but not me. I was scared, sure, but somehow still unafraid. My mother wasn't always religious, but the devil would soon visit her, and everything would change. Catherine performed a ritual that made my mother go insane. I watched as my mother beat on herself, spiraling out of control under a spell cast on her. It was like something had taken over her body. She wasn't herself anymore. That's when I got truly scared. I cried. I screamed. There was nothing I could do. Catherine just sat there and watched. Finally, my mother went quiet. She fell into a deep sleep, completely unresponsive. The next day, she remembered nothing from the night before, but the bruises and the scratches on her breast, marks from her own hands, remained. They were the only memories she had of what happened. Yes, no one was there to tell my story then. I was a kid and I watched my voodoo auntie, Catherine, put a spell on my mother. From that day on, my mother and I moved out of Catherine's home. I was no longer to accept money from Catherine because that was now the devil's money. My mother and I moved into a church, which was also a home that took her in, where she still lived today because recently we were on FaceTime on WhatsApp. My mom was showing me around the neighborhood. I was like, that's the same area we used to live in. My mother still lived in the same area. And of course, many things have changed in Haiti. Catherine is now telling me that she had found the Lord. I'm having to tell her all the things that I used to say as a child. And she was like, Stevens, I don't practice these things no more. You know, I'm holy, I'm God, I'm this, da-da-da. And it's a beautiful story. It's beautiful to see the growth. It's beautiful this book is needed. This is my story. And I had to tell it, okay? I told them that I was writing a book just like I told everybody else in my family that I was writing a book, that this was coming. And I had to share my story, and God got me out of Haiti because there was a worser life for me there. And yeah, chapter 1, if you like it, I am going to do this every week. So I guess this is where I get podcasty. Like, share, subscribe. To my YouTube, of course, SD'Experience. I like this. I like doing videos like this, unexpected, because once it become, expected and something that I have to do, I go to dressing up and have to be perfect, and my story isn't perfect. So my podcast shouldn't be perfect either, right? But this is me. This is all of me. Unfiltered. I'm telling it all. And if anybody has a problem with it, concern, questions, feel free to contact me. I would love to get y'all together and tell y'all, some of y'all to just shut the fuck up. Anyway, bye you guys. Thank you for listening. And yeah, Me, Myself, and Time out now on Amazon. Thanks.